Hi Eddie, I'm just setting up the stream, but I just saw your comment and that did make me chuckle. Oh, mental one. Yeah, I'm I'm boiling, Eddie. Absolutely boiling. It's we're in a heat wave currently in the UK at the moment. I don't know what it's like over there, but yeah, absolutely boiling. And unfortunately, I live in a solid brick house, which basically means as soon as the sun hits the house, it warms the bricks up and it just increases the temperature inside the house even more. And to top that off, unfortunately, I've got my door shut here in the office. All the windows are shut so that my voice doesn't carry. So yeah, I'm going to be sweating in about 30 minutes time. But yeah, I'm doing okay, mate. Doing okay. Oh, mental one. I love that. Hello, Mr. Regara. Welcome to the stream. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm just doing the usual stuff you have to do when you start a stream. Right, I think we're done. Yes, we are done. Right, turn that off. Turn that off. Yes, right. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hookster Talks with me and TB the Bear. TB the Bear, everyone's favourite bear. Yes, yes. And die-hard Lewis Hamilton fan, aren't you? Yes, die-hard Lewis Hamilton fan. He loves his Lulu. He loves his Lulu. Still can't work out why. No. Anyway. Let's move on swiftly, as they say. Let me get the chat up online. Make myself smaller. That's what she said. And get the chat over to here, I do believe. There it is. Got to line up the chat. Put it there. Move it down there. And make it a little bit bigger. No, not that one. That one. There we go. Now I shall make myself a little bit bigger. That's not what she said. Oh God. Right, here we are. Here we are. Hello everyone out there. This will be a rather quick stream before I melt. I've actually got a fan behind me as well. It's helping a tiny bit, but not by much. Yes, not by much. Eddie says, yeah, I know in the UK you guys don't have much of air conditioning, and these recent years the heat has been crazy during the summer. Yeah, that is true. That is true, Eddie. A lot of people don't know that about the UK, but we pretty much have no air conditioning whatsoever. In shops and businesses, you know, they've got the AC blowing away, so when you walk into the shops you get that blast of cold air. But in people's houses it's pretty much Non-existent. Air conditioning, pretty much non-existent. I mean, obviously you've got the rich and the shameless who've probably got AC in every room, but for the normal average Joe, no, air conditioning is not a thing in the UK. It really isn't, because in the past it's never really got that hot enough. But obviously, you know, as the planet's warming up and the climate protesters get madder and madder and madder, and you know, by about 2035 the planet's going to explode into a fireball. Yeah, that's not going to happen. No. Greta said it was going to happen in 2018, but it didn't. So what did she do? Well, she deleted the tweet. Yes. Good old Greta. I love Greta Thunberg. She's great. She really is great. She's exactly what we need right now. Everyone needs a Greta Thunberg. No, not really. It's extremely hot over here as well, and we have had quite a bit of rain in the western part of Virginia, so my whole yard and chicken coop got flooded, so I'm working on that right now. Oh no, not the chickens! The poor chickens! Are they alright when they get flooded, or do they drown? I don't know. I've never kept chickens, so I wouldn't know, but hopefully your chickens are alright, mate, because chickens are important. They really, I know we steal their eggs and we eat them, but chickens are bloody important. I'll tell you what. I probably still wouldn't be here if it wasn't for chickens. Seriously. About 15 years ago, I stopped eating beef. Just a conscious decision. I've never really liked it that much, and there's been a few times when I've had a few bits of dodgy beef. You know the dodgy beef. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'll just stop eating beef altogether. So I did that about 15 years ago. So I haven't eaten beef. I have not had a McDonald's. Quarter pounder with... Stop it now. Stop it. I have not had a McDonald's in about 15 years. It was just a decision. I'm not one of these, you know, vegans. I'm not a vegan. I do like my meat. I do like my meat. I'm not a vegan, but I just decided to give up beef. And as I say, I never really, you know, liked it that much. And I've had a few dodgy beefs, so I thought, no, that's okay. But since I've given up beef, I eat more chicken now. In fact, I eat chicken every single day. Every single day I eat chicken. So if there was no chickens in the world, I'd be very upset. So yes. Big ups to the chicken. I know I eat you, and I'm sorry, but it's survival, isn't it? So, you know, but I love you chickens, I really do. Yes, big up the chickens, because without the chickens, well, there'd be no KFC for one thing, but without the chickens, I don't know what I'd do. I do love me chicken, I must admit. Yeah, I eat chicken every single day. There's not a day that goes past when I don't eat something with chicken in it. Yes. So there you go. And do I miss beef? No, not at all. No. I just have a chicken burger if I ever get to McDonald's, which I never usually do, in fact. But in case I do one day, I just have a chicken burger instead, and it's fine. Absolutely fine. So as for missing beef, no, I don't miss beef at all. But I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not going full vegetarian. No, I can't do that because I've got to have my beef. I've got to have my meat inside me. Yes, got to have my meat. Look, there's someone out there laughing while I'm saying this. I know who it is as well. I've got to have my meat inside me. Yes. Can't be doing without some bit of meat. Yes, but as long as it's not beef, because I can't be bothered with beef. Leave the cows alone. That's what I say. Let them graze on the land and eat their grass. You know, I don't want to eat you anymore. No, I've decided I don't want to eat you cows. So you're safe from me now. But you chickens, you better watch out, you chickens, because I'm coming at you with a meat cleaver. I'll have you chickens, because I love the taste of chicken. I really do. Green light Mercedes, yellow light Verstappen, red light Norris. Absolutely, I quite agree. Hello, Paddock69. Well, he says sack Norris. Sack Lando Norris. Oh, what? England's answer to Nigel Mansell? Surely not. Surely not. Norris out. No. It was a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. See, I got that reference. The chickens were up on the porch, so they didn't really get affected, but a lot of work for me to clean everything up. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Eddie. But as long as the chickens are alright, mate, that's all that matters. Yes. Yes, those chickens are going to be alright, because I love me chicken. I do indeed. I love eggs as well, so there you go. There's not a bit of the chicken that I don't like. I like their eggs, and I like their fires. Yes. Chicken, very nice. We love chicken. They're definitely helping out with the yard clean out of all the bugs from the rain. Nice. Panic69 says, to be fair, Greta does seem like a genuinely decent person outside of the speeches. Yes, she reminds me of Lewis Hamilton. She reminds me of Lewis Hamilton. I expect you're saying, how did you get to that analogy? Well, quite simply because all the time Lewis Hamilton's in the car, he's absolutely, on it, and I've always got the best respect for him. The moment he steps out of the car and opens his mouth, that's when all the problems start. Yeah, that's when all the problems start. No. So, Lulu, just never speak anymore, and you'll be fine. But Greta's a bit like that as well. I expect underneath it all, Greta is probably a genuinely nice person. I've seen her in an interview where the facade or the personality of Greta, because Greta isn't Greta. She's her own personality that she's devised. I understand her parents had a big contribution to the Greta that we've got today. They moulded her into this personality, but I don't believe that's Greta at all. I saw on a TV conversational sort of chat show thing. Can't remember the bloke's name, but it was a TV show, and she was sitting on a sofa made up of newspapers. That's all I can remember. Obviously, it wasn't made of real newspapers, but the sofa had a newspaper pattern on it. I can't remember the bloke's name. I think in the UK it was on BBC Three. Anyway, she was talking to this bloke. Yeah, and I felt for the first time that the Greta, the personality, was she dropped the personality and she was being herself. And I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think as a person, she's probably a really nice person, but unfortunately, this persona, this personality that she's built, I don't know. I don't get it. But there you go. That's everyone in life. We all build our own personalities. So yeah. Never gets to have sausage though. No. I do like sausages. I still eat sausages because that's still not beef. Well, as long as they're not beef sausages. I like me pork. Oh, I do like me pork as well. Yes, I like me bacon, and I like me little piggies. Oh, I love my little piggies. Yes, piggy, get in my tummy, piggies. All you piggies, get in my tummy, tum. Yes, piggy. But anyway, let's. So yeah, I do have sausages as well. I eat in the meat department. I eat sausages, and chicken. And that's all the meat that I eat. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's all the meat I eat is sausages and chicken. No beef. In fact, for my last birthday, I was offered a full, McDonald's experience. The Big Mac, and I declined. And I had a chicken burger instead, and it was absolutely fine. And the family actually respected that decision as well, because I said, look, I haven't eaten beef for 15 years, so I don't feel that just because it's my birthday I should just, throw that away and just gorge myself with a McDonald's, even though it's probably very nice. So I couldn't be bothered, but the chicken was fine, absolutely fine. Or fish. Now, fish, I don't eat fish. No, unfortunately, I know. I haven't got a great I've never had a love of fish. I used to eat fish fingers back when I was a lad. Back when I was a lad, yes, knee-high to a grasshopper. That was the closest I got to fish. I'm just one of those people that just doesn't like the taste of fish. Doesn't appeal to me at all. Either if it's, you know, really nice fish, it just doesn't appeal to me. I know it's sacrilege coming from England, you know, the home of fish and chips, but yeah, fish has never appealed to me. And as for that sushi stuff, oh my god, it makes me ill just thinking about eating raw fish. It really does. Really does. I expect there's people out there that love it, and good luck to you. But for me personally, sushi, not for me. Or any type of fish. Any type of fish. Yeah. I did have a bad experience about, I don't know, God knows, 30 years ago now, with some prawns. Yes, some prawns, which were, let's put it this way, not at their best. They weren't at their best, these prawns. And I did end up actually in hospital for 2 weeks over prawns. Yes, prawns put me in hospital for 2 weeks. Yes. So you can imagine how not at their best these prawns were. Yeah. Because you'd imagine, you know, 3 or 4 days, 2 weeks I was in hospital for, with a serious food poisoning. I'm just going to say food poisoning, but it was the kind of food poisoning that goes beyond food poisoning, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's the next level up from food poisoning. Yeah, absolutely. Next level up from food poisoning. So I had 2 weeks in hospital due to prawns. Unfortunately, because of that, I've never eaten a prawn since, which is a shame because I did used to love the prawns. But I just, you know, when that happens to you, it's very difficult to get past it, because especially as I knew that was what caused the poisoning, because it was the last thing I'd eaten, and literally within 30 minutes I started to feel ill. 30 minutes. Now, anyone who knows about things like that, if you start to feel ill within 30 minutes of eating something, that's pretty serious, because it usually takes 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 24, 36 hours before you start to feel ill. If it's half an hour, then you're in serious trouble. You're in serious trouble. And so because of that, I've never been able to eat a prawn again, which I'm very, very upset about, because I used to love prawns. Yes, prawn cocktail, bliss. But no, unfortunately the prawns for me are no more. And colossally, that's Mansell. That is Nigel Mansell. Yes. Panic says, I have 2 dogs. Trust me, they're the laziest gits going. Yes. I had a dog. Well, not myself. I was looking after my sister's dog because he was getting on a bit, and unfortunately, my sister went through a divorce, and where she moved to, they weren't allowed animals anymore, and the dog was getting on a bit. He was 11, 12, I think, and so I volunteered to have him in his final stages of his life, and it was fine first couple of years. The last year was a little bit of a struggle because he was having his own problems as well. But I had him for 3 years, and I had a cat before that. He was absolutely mental, mate, mental, absolutely mental. Yes, I had a tortoise when I was a kid as well. Yeah, I used to call him Flash, because I tell you what, he could zip down the bottom of the garden, literally in a flash. In seconds, he was down there. He was absolutely mental, and he was horrible. He'd hiss at you, spit at you, bite you. It was just, I'd never known a tortoise like that. Honestly, mental. And I used to put him in a cardboard box every winter with some straw in it, so he'd hibernate for 6 months. Wake him up. That was always an effort. Lots of lettuce. And wake up, you silly bastard. You know, stuff like that. The normal stuff that you do. And yeah, I had him for about 5 years, I think. And then unfortunately, he hibernated, and then in the box. And then I went to get him out of the box. And unfortunately, he died at some point during the during the winter because basically inside his shell there was nothing in there. He'd completely desiccated. So yeah, he died sometime during the winter. At least he died when he was hibernating, which was good. He didn't, he wasn't out and about and died then. He died in his sleep, which is probably the best way for all of us, to be honest. So yeah, I had him about 5 years, maybe 3 years, I can't remember. But yeah, he was absolutely mental. But unfortunately, tortoises, when they're kept, in pet shops and what have you, they don't acclimatise to English weather very well, and they never seem to live very long. I know people, serious keepers of tortoises manage to get them to, live for 50 years sometimes, but generally tortoises over in the UK don't live for more than about 4, 5, maybe 10 years maximum, because they just can't adapt to it. Life in the UK. Good, says Mr. Regar. Posey says Greta is just a bit brain. Yeah, she is a bit brainwashed, and from what I understand, I can't confirm it, but from what I've been reading, her parents had a lot to do with that. Yes, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. If you look it up on Google, you'll see that her parents really have been a very strong influence. And yeah, I've never seen them. I mean, there's probably pictures of them online, but I've never actually seen them with Greta at any time. So they seem to be like little puppet masters, pulling the strings of Greta, which is a shame. It is a shame, because as I say, I think Paddock 69 is right. I think behind that, she probably is a really nice person. I saw this interview, and she definitely let her guard down. And yeah, she came across really well. So it is a shame. My sister has recently got in a relationship with a liberal soy boy, a feminine male version of... Oh dear. You have my sympathies, Eddie. You have my sympathies. You really do have my sympathies. Anyways, what's up with F1 today? Well, let's have a look. What is up with F1 today? Here's the top stories now. James Vowles, Williams team principal, signs a new long-term deal as F1 team bid for front of grid. Williams are currently 5th in the Constructors' Championship with more points than their previous 3 seasons combined. Yeah, he's done a good job as James Vowles, but still, in my eyes, I can't see Williams getting back to the top. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to be serious mid-runners, but at the moment their performance to me just looks like Jordan. Looks like Jordan performance levels. Yeah, remember Jordan, even sort of in their good years, that at the moment is how Williams sort of looks to me. So there's still lots of potential there, and of course, it did come to Jordan in their last years before they sold it to the people that I can't mention because I'm streaming on YouTube and I'll get smacked. You know the people I'm talking about. Before he sold the team to them, those final years at Jordan, they were doing very well indeed. Very well indeed. So Williams may get to that level. But at the moment, I just don't see it. So he signed a long-term contract to stay as Williams team. That's good. I haven't got any problem with him. But as I say, I just think that it's gonna be too long before they get anywhere competitive. I'd like to take a time machine now and look forward 5 years and see where Williams are. I'm pretty sure they'll still be at the level of performance, maybe just a little bit better than what they're doing right now. I just can't see them making that ultimate push forward, to be honest. Basically because the team over the years has just been ravaged, and it's just, you know, and he is building that back up again. I understand that. It's good that he's building it back up again, but all these things take time. One of the things in Formula One is continuity. If you can continuously build year to year, it makes you in a lot better position as an F1 team. Now, James Vowles has pretty much had to start from scratch because a lot of the personnel had left and you know, have been replaced. So he's basically building this team up from the ground up. So I think he's doing a very good job, but I just can't see that ultimate performance coming from Williams in the next 5 years. I just can't see it. But it'll be. I hope to God I prove wrong, because there's no one here that would prefer to see Williams back up on the top of game than me. I really would. Someone sent a link to me yesterday that they're making Damon Hill into a movie, and they just showed. I was just watching the trailer of it, and there was old clips of the Williams, you know, in its heyday, and it just brought back so many memories for me about Williams back in the day. I wonder if that clip's on here actually. Oh, here it is.
My whole life.
So I was a little bit surprised at this, to be honest. I just put my headphones in. It's been a long time, I think, to make a movie about Damon Hill, I have to say. So I was a little bit surprised, to be honest.
My whole life. People had been asking me if I was going to be a racing driver like my dad. And there I was, within a point of winning the world championship.
He said, I'm going to race in Formula One and I'm going to become a world champion.
It started the day my dad died. Prost, Senna, Schumacher. I had a steep hill to climb, but I want to win.
Oh, is that it? I saw a slightly longer version of that, but yeah, there you go. So, a movie of Damon Hill. Seems a bit weird. It seems to have a long time seems to have gone past since then. But anyway, there you go. But just seeing the Williams back out there again, you know, just brought back some memories of the good old days of Formula One. And I just thought to myself, you know what? That is what we're missing, the good old days of Formula One. Right, take my headphones out. Right, back to the comments. She's mostly correct, but she does seem to be a bit attention-seeking at times, though. Yes, definitely. Oh God, Polish Eddie, you are beginning to sound like a Trump worshipper. Let's not have that on here. Chat's getting controversial already. Love it. Also, Giga Cubica finally wins in a Ferrari. Yes. Eddie says, I've never been into politics and I've never liked Trump because of what the media would say here and there. But once I actually started paying attention, I know better than to trust the Democrat. More like he can't get no fishies. I see what you did there. Yes. And as cruel as that was, you cannot deny the truth. You're absolutely right. You cannot deny the truth. I'm definitely capable of criticising whatever Trump does that I don't like, but overall it's just common sense that the Republican Party is pushing. Anyway, moving on from that because Dave has to read out all our cack. That's fine. As I say, it's called free speech. And free speech is very welcome on this channel. Yes, I never stop people from expressing themselves. Try not to anyway. Yes, free speech is always welcome. As long as you're not, you know, attacking people and, you know, religions and stuff like that. Because yeah, but it's fine. Fine. Say what you like. Unfortunately, if YouTube censors it and takes the stream off the air, there's nothing I can do about that. But as far as I'm concerned, carry on. Hello, Mr. GGM99. Hey all, I see Benny Boy has sacked another. Oh no. Oh no. Congrats to Mr. Jesus for the 3 straight podiums at Le Mans. Robert Kubica. Yes, congratulations to Robert Kubica. What a story that is, eh? What a story that is. The great hope of Sauber back in, when was it? Was it 2007? In that Sauber car, he did bloody well. I mean, a lot of people were tipping him to be world champion, weren't they, back then in 2007. I didn't think it was on, but still he did very, very well. And then, of course, he went to do the rally, and we all know what happened there. Disastrous smash, which caused him to... I think he lost, was it 2 of his fingers? Something like that, anyway. He then came back and did a season in Formula 1 for Williams, which was some achievement, I have to say. I mean, you know, obviously he could not maintain a performance level that he'd had before. I mean, he's missing 2 of his fingers, for God's sake. It's not going to happen. But just to come back into that Williams seat was just iconic. It really was. And then, of course, he goes on and wins Le Mans. It's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Really is. A great story, which I think should be turned into a movie. Yes, the Robert Kubica years. Should be, because that's a story that's worth telling. It really is. Yeah, forget about your Damon Hills. We don't care about this. Have a Robert Kubica story. Are you listening to me, Netflix? Are you listening? Good. That's what we need, a Robert Kubica story, because that is just brilliant. Really is. You know, to come back from disability, because that's what it is. If you've lost fingers, you are, you know, disabled. There's no 2 ways about it. But to come back from that and to win Le Mans, it's like a fairy tale. It really is like a fairy tale. It's like a Disney movie. You know, with that with the good bit at the start, and then you get like the angst in the middle, and then you get the happy ending. That's exactly what has happened to Robert Kubica. So congratulations to him. Really great job. Really great job. No one cares about your bleeding turtle. It was a tortoise, not a turtle. They're entirely different species altogether. Tortoise. And I'm deeply hurt now, deeply, because I was reciting that from the heart now, and it's just been, yeah, who cares about a fucking tortoise? Long live Gary the groundhog. Yes, poor Gary. Poor Gary. Poor Gary the groundhog. Yes. Run over by Lulu. And he is no more. He's gone to the great groundhog in the sky. Poor Gary. Poor Gary. I think Lulu should bring him back as a mascot. Bring him back. He could be like TB, couldn't he? Gary the groundhog. Yes, Gary the groundhog. Be like a TB mascot. Bring him back. I'm sure he'd be all right. All right. He may be a little bit flat, but just stick a bike pump in him and just get, you know, pump him back out again, and I'm sure he'd be fine. Gary would be fine. Absolutely fine. And have him as a little mascot. Lulu could put him on the front of his car. You never know, it might go a bit faster. Whoopsie! Gary the Groundhog. Love it. I stand for what Greta says mostly though. Says also cancel. Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that. Cancel Josh. Agreed. Goat. Cancel Josh indeed. And will F1 gaming. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello, Mr. Champ 92. Welcome to the stream. He says, dear Dave, do you only watch F1? No. I'll tell you what. I have just started to get back into rallying again. I used to watch rallying religiously back in the day. We got a TV channel over here called Channel 4, and they used to have extensive coverage back in the 2000s of rallying. They even started doing stages live on the telly box. Yes, live! But yes, they did extensive coverage of the rally over here. So I loved it. And then we went into the Sebastian Loeb era, and I loved that as well. I know a lot of people hated the dominance. Me too, but I just love to see those Citroens going around because I adored those cars, the Citroens. They were just brilliant. So yeah, I started getting into rallying. Then about 10 years ago, I started to drift off from rallying. So I hadn't seen any rallying for about the last 10 years. And I kept meaning to give it another go. I tried, I think it was last year or the year before, but then I'd heard so much about these hybrid engines not working, and it was all up in the air. I thought, nah, I think I'll miss it. So I'm very happy to see that they have dumped the hybrid engine for this year's World Rally Championship. Great to see. So you got none of this basically F1 ERS copy mode, because that's what it was. Yeah, you used to get boosts of power to the it's just I'm glad they got rid of it. And so it's sort of returned now to how it used to be, the rallying. And so for this year, I have got back into the rallying again. And I think there's a Japanese bloke in it this year. He's probably been in it a few years because I've only returned this year. Is it Tamamoko or something? I'm really impressed with him. Really impressed with him, and he's the one I'm following in this year's World Rally Championship. I can't remember his name. I probably butchered it. It's probably not Takamoto at all. Wherever it is. Yeah. So, and I have to say, I mean, I only get like the highlights of each event on my telly, so it's only like an hour-long program. But I have to say, I'm kind of enjoying it again. So I think I may now return to rallying. Yes, I am kind of enjoying it again. So that's it. I also watched, of course, like a lot of people, the British Touring Car Championship. Unfortunately, that's sort of waned over the past few years because they've had the same kind of problems with using hybrid engines and all that ERS bull crap, as I call it. So they've had their problems as well. But I still do watch the British Touring Car. I don't watch because they do it live over here as well. I only watch the highlights. I can't be bothered to watch it live. But yeah, I do watch the British Touring Car as well. I do watch a bit of Le Mans when it comes on. I do like watching it at night because the commentary is quite possibly the best commentary you'd ever get from any motorsport event, to be honest, because it's just brilliant. Because, you know, the cars are going around, it's pitch black with their lights on, so they start to talk, the commentators start to talk about other things, you know, and it's just a real great, it's just nice. It's like a cozy little chat. You can just sit there and, you know, have a few drinks and just chill out and listen to the commentators through Le Mans. It's just brilliant, especially on the night stages. I don't like it too much during the day stages, but during the night it's just great. So I watch a little bit of Le Mans. I think that's probably about it for motorsport. Yeah, it's only really what I can get over here in the UK that I haven't got to pay for, basically, because, you know, I won't pay for TV. Well, I've got a cable TV which I pay for, but, you know, paying for all these extra sports channels, nah. So it's only really anything that I can view for free is what I watch. So I know it's now gone free again, but it was, you had to pay for it. That was the Formula E. I've never seen that. So I can't make a comment about that. The only comment I've made in the past is that my dad used to be a milkman and he used to drive milk floats, and so, you know, for me, I wouldn't want to watch a load of milk floats driving around a circuit, to be honest. And the sound that they make would probably be reminiscent of back in the 70s with the milk floats, and it just doesn't do it for me. So yeah, so Formula E unfortunately is out. Even though a lot of people keep saying to me, "Oh, it's really good," I know, but I've got to give it a miss. I'm sorry. I also don't watch the lower formulas of Formula One either, like F3 or F2, because I can't get it for free over here, so I miss out on those, which is a shame. And what else have you got? Oh, F1 Academy. F1 Academy. Yeah. I don't watch that either, to be honest. No, it's just, it doesn't appeal. Anyway, let's move on. Give other series a try, you won't regret it. Yes, that's what I've done. I say this year I've returned to rallying. There you go. I used to love rallying. I mean, as I say, back in its heyday, back in the 2000s, because you had rallying on the telly. Then you had the latest instalment of Colin McRae, whichever one it was, during that year. So it was great. It was really great. It really was. I used to love the rallying. I still play rally games now. I'm currently playing the WRC game, which I'm pretty impressed with, I have to say. I know it's a lot of criticism, and of course it is by Codemasters and EA, so it deserves a thumbs down just for that. But I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. It feels to me very much like the dirt games. It really does. It feels a lot like a dirt game. So I am really enjoying WRC. So, you know, anyone out there gets my recommendation, and I expect it's pretty cheap. They keep selling it for about £10, so it's not a lot of money. It does go up and down in price, but lots of times it's being sold for about £10. But I'm really impressed with it, I'd say. Very good. He watches the Scissoring Championships every year. Yes, and I know what you've done there, and I'm not going to rise to the bait. No. Oh, I didn't know that your name is Dave. Yes, everyone's called Dave on here. Yes. Good Lord, Damon Hill got his movie. Yes, he got his movie finally. I say it's been a very long time, hasn't it? 96 when he won the championship. 96. Hang on, let's see if I can word that on my fingers. 96, 2006, 2016. Bloody hell, it's going to be 30 years next year. 30 years next year since Damon Hill won his championship. Now I feel very old indeed. 30 years. Wowzers. I still remember that like it's yesterday. And I've got to stop now because I've got a lump in my throat. Murray Walker. Fantastic. I would much rather love to see a movie about Graham Hill. Yeah, me too. I don't know. Or, I mean, if they were going to make a movie about Damon, couldn't they have devoted like half of it to his dad? Because, I mean, nothing against Damon, but Graham Hill's story is a lot more involved than Damon Hill's story is, to be honest. And yet, you saw in that trailer, it starts straight away by he was saying, "Oh, well, my career started the day my dad died." So obviously, they're hardly going to concentrate on his dad at all, which is a shame. I think they could have devoted it as a 50-50 split, because the Graham Hill story is absolutely fantastic. Go and have a look at it on Google and just read the story of Graham Hill, because it's very, very interesting, very, very interesting indeed. And in places you'll be like, what? He did what? Really is interesting. But sadly, won't get ever made into a movie. Well, it might do one day. You can never say never. They make movies out of everything these days. But at the moment, it's a no. The only real heel Mr. Triple Crown nowadays, Damon waffles a load of cack. Yes, he does waffle a load of cack. Bit like me, really. But no, he does waffle a load of cat. I mean, back in the day, I will admit I was a die-hard Damon Hill supporter. Really, really serious Damon Hill supporter. But ever since he's been on Twitter, just some of the things he said, I've gone, I don't know about that, Damon. So yeah, as he's got older, I don't know. I've gone off him a bit. So it's very, very weird. But yeah, I think maybe he should have stayed off Twitter, to be honest. Meanwhile, the Lakers have been sold for $10 billion. Unfathomable that any company is sold for that much, bloody hell. $10 billion. Wow. That's pretty unbelievable. $10 billion. That's just crazy money. Absolutely crazy money. Is Hill's movie sponsored by a bottle making company? I think it could be. Yes, I think it could be. Hello, Mr. Plynal Pessy. Welcome to the stream. He says, this is why Lando Norris is never winning a world championship. Yes, I finally used it as the title of my video last week. Because I just thought it was absolutely appropriate. Absolutely appropriate. Because, yeah, as we all saw on the race last week, Lando Norris being a total... what can you say? What can you say? Not a lot, really. Total bottle job. Remember when Senna said if you don't go for a gap, you're not a racing driver? Yeah, there's only one problem with that. There has to be a gap first before you go for it, you know? There was nothing there. No. You wouldn't have even got Harry the Warthog or whatever his name was through that gap. No. Even if he was squashed flat sideways, he wouldn't have got through that gap. Was it Harry the Warthog? I can't remember. Whoever it was. Even if he was squashed, he wouldn't have got through that gap that Lando was trying to go for. Because there just wasn't one there. Unbelievable. And of course the offshoot of that is Maxi Boy got some points. And he's now chasing Lando Norris. And I said in my video last couple of days ago, I'm pretty sure Max is going to overtake Lando before the end of the season and end up as the season runner-up. I don't think he's got any chance of catching Oscar. Even on a bad day, Oscar's just got to get there and continually knock in those points. That's all he's got to do. And he still needs to, get a few more wins under his belt, but he's just got to consistently knock in those points and he should be clear and gone. But as for Lando, no, because Max is catching Lando, and I still say I think he's going to overtake him before the end of the season. He really is. I mean, we've seen Lando and Max battling together, and Lando he hasn't got the skill set to best Max Verstappen, has he? Let's face it, he has not got that skill set. So yeah, I can see Max overtaking and ended up as the runner-up in the championship this year. And I think Max, who said in that interview that the car's just not quick enough this year, I think Max would be quite happy to just come second this year, to be honest, and then move on to next year and hopefully have a better job next year. Of course, don't forget the regulation changes. I've said about it before, so I'm not going to bore you all again, but all the regulation changes next year with the cars, and of course Red Bull for the first time ever are developing their own engine, the Red Bull Powertrains engine. So everything once again is going to be up in the air. It's going to be a complete reset like it's been in the past, 2009, stuff like that. It's going to be a complete reset, which is great because it'll be a clean slate and we won't know who's the best car. I mean, I think it'll pretty much fall into the usual pecking order eventually, but in those first few rounds, no one's going to know who the best is. And of course, the data has to be reset. At the moment, the cars run on data that they've accumulated over the years. Probably 5 years ago, they're still using some of that data for some of the racetracks. how the car performs, how it goes over the bumps. That's all data that continuously just gets passed on each year and year and year. Next year, all that wiped clean. The slate is wiped clean because the cars are changed. They're changed. They've got the front wing now with the DRS flap that's going to open slightly. It's all changed. So it's going to be a completely blank slate, and it will be at least half a season, I think, before the clear, winners of the championship are going to emerge. It's going to be all over the place, and I love it because I love that shake-up that it gets, because this is the last year of the old regulations, and you can tell that everything is now basically working like clockwork. There's nothing more that they can do to improve things. So that means that everyone in their current pecking order is going to pretty much stay there until the end of the year. We're not suddenly going to see a Huss emerge into podium positions, unless of course it's some kind of big accident. We're not suddenly going to see Lance Stroll winning a race in the Aston Martin. I know that would be a stretch anyway, but we're not going to see that this year because the regulations, as I say, it's all been passed down from years in the past, and now they're just seeing out this final year. So pretty much the pecking order is going to be pretty much the same for the rest of this season, and the teams have got no interest in trying to improve anything, because the cars at the end of the year straight into the bin. That's metaphorically I'm saying that. Of course they don't put the cars in the bin, but for racing this is the final year for these kind of cars, so they will all be retired. So all the cars next year will be brand new. So there's not really any incentive for the teams to try and get any kind of max performance out of these cars when they're being ditched in 6 or 7 months time. Of course they will try to put development parts onto the cars to give them a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of an edge, but it's all going to stay pretty much the same. So the McLarens now, fingers crossed, should stay at this same performance level. They're going to have bad races, they're going to have good races throughout the season, because that's just basically McLaren. Always has been, basically. But overall they should retain the consistency until the end of the season, and hopefully Oscar will do it. But as for anyone suddenly coming through, but I'll say next year, all change. Yes. We could have an Aston Martin winning the first race next year. Highly improbable, but it could happen because, as I say, the regulations, complete reset. So nobody knows what's going to happen. No, more like sponsored by people without standards. Yes. Barlow Pacey says the BTT this week is also Steve Ryder's last book. Steve Ryder. Now, a lot of people in the UK would know that Steve Ryder's been commentating for a very long time, and in fact he started doing the BBC coverage of the Formula 1, which was back in its heyday, which was the 90s. So yeah, very sad that last broadcast for Steve Ryder, but he must be getting on a bit now. He's got to be. I say he was doing the broadcast back in the 90s when he was a young man, so he's got to be getting on. So anyway, well done and congratulations to Steve Ryder for a great career, I say. And I think he's managed to avoid any serious controversy, to be honest. I've never heard anything bad about Steve Ryder, so well done. We need a movie about Ricardo Rosset. Yes. Well, it wouldn't last very long, would it? Especially with his Formula 1 career. We've managed to shoehorn that into about a 2-minute trailer. Yes. Ricardo Rosset entered Formula 1, and it was pretty apparent from the offset that he was absolutely shit. Absolutely shit. I always remember that commentary with Murray at Monaco with him, and he said, well, it's a bit of a debate about whether Ricardo Rossi is actually Formula 1 material, and Martin Brundle just came out deadpan and says, it's not much of a debate, Murray. Just love that bit. Absolutely love that bit. And it was true. An appalling driver. Should never have got into Formula One. But back in those days, it was very easy. I've said this before about sneaking in through the back door and managing to hide your performance level because there were so many drivers trying to enter the championship at the same time. You had like pre-qualifying back in the day. 36 drivers sometimes just trying to enter a Grand Prix. It was very easy to slip under the radar for people not to notice whether you were shit or not. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. Unlike now where it's very, very difficult. Only 20 seats. 22 of course next year with Cadillac. But at the moment only 20 seats. It's very, very difficult. You've got to be, I've said this before as well, you've got to be up and running. You've got to be out the gate from the off. And just look what happens if you're not. Liam Lawson. Oh my God. So much hype for Liam Lawson. It was unbelievable. He was going to be the next Max Verstappen. That's what I heard. Everyone was saying it. He's going to be the next Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson. And what's happened? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. He's been an absolute... I'm going to say it. He's been an absolute disgrace. He really has. He's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. But, you know, it happens. Sometimes you come off lower formulas into the big leagues and you just can't cut it. It's happened to loads of drivers. They do really well in the lower formulas, get into Formula 1 and they just can't do anything. Can't do anything. It's not really their fault, I don't think. It's just that, you know, some drivers can't adapt to Formula 1 because it is supposed to be the pinnacle of the sport. So there you go. The true GOAT. Yes, Ricardo Rossi, the true GOAT. I wouldn't say probably the worst driver ever in Formula 1. He's definitely in there with the winners, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's the worst driver ever, but he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there in a top 10 of worst drivers ever. I think I could probably put Gabriele Tarquini in that list as well, only in his Formula 1 career because he did quite well in touring cars, but in his Formula 1 career we've got to put Gabriele Tarquini in there. Giga Kubica, yes. Kubica and Giovinazzi are the WEC Championship leaders, by the way. Well done to them. Well done to them. And Giovinazzi, he was in Formula 1 a couple of years ago, wasn't he? Was he in the Sauber? Was he in the Sauber? I think he was. Too bad that nowadays the majority has no clue about WEC, endurance and Le Mans. Yep. I think a lot of that's due to attention spans. You get something like Le Mans running for 24 hours, the kids of today, they're just not going to bother, are they? They're just not going to bother because if it's longer than 1 minute long, you what, mate? If it's longer than a minute, they can't be bothered. So if I'm saying it's on for 24 hours, you're like, oh, what? Only F1, yes. Damon Hill has a Sky documentary while BBC4 is showing a 6-part series on Alain Prost, which I've recorded. Oh, nice. Alain Prost, yes. Sacked by Ferrari. Love it. Kubica has also won LMP2 last year with his drivers and team. Simply a real chat. Yeah, absolutely. Well done to Robert Kubica. I think that deserves a round of applause to Robert Kubica. Actually, as I say, a great comeback from all the problems that he's had. I won't go into it again because I've already mentioned it, but to have a serious hand injury, and I think he's lost 2 fingers, I'm not quite sure, but I think he did. Then to come back in Formula 1 into Williams and then to end up winning Le Mans, it's like a Disney fairy tale, isn't it? It really is. Great to see. Eddie says, Kubica's a legend. Multiple Formula 1 champion in this rally accident. Yes, I think you're right. He would have been a F1 champion because he was really on it in his heyday. TB the Bear says, Champ 92. Yes, TB the Bear. Palace United says, Kubica would never have won a championship. Only opportunity he would have had is if he had got into a V8 Red Bull or a V6 Mercedes at some point. I can't see a scenario where that would have ever happened. There you go. Good old Champ 92, says Mr. Rugara. Okay, nice day. Thanks for answering my question. I also watch WRC a lot. Good, me too. So do you know the name of the Japanese bloke? because I mean I could look it up on Google, but it's more exciting this way. Can you tell me what the name of the Japanese bloke is? I'm going to say Tanaka, but that's what I call everyone who's Japanese, so that's probably not his name. Done with the moaning Yorkshireman. Excise him. Yes. Excise him. Yes, he needs an exorcism, I do believe, because he's got demons. He's got demons in his soul. Yes, he's got demons, and they must be exorcised. Yes, exorcise the demons. Yes. He's got a serious Lance Stroll problem. I know that. Oh my God, serious Lance Stroll problem. Yes, and something else as well. He loves those Huskars, doesn't he? He loves those Huskars. Yes. Every single one he moans about saying that the FIA's done with the Hus. But yes, I agree. Blind Player says WRC needs more manufacturers. Yes, it does. Yes. That was one thing I was a little bit dismayed of coming back into the WRC this year, seeing so little manufacturers. You've only got Hyundai, haven't you, and Toyota, and I think a couple of others, and that's about it, isn't it? Was it 4 manufacturers? Something like that. Not many, but of course British Touring Car went through that as well, didn't they? Where they lost tons of manufacturers, and they started putting in privateer teams, didn't they, to try and just make the numbers up in the end. But yeah, not good. Yeah, I'm old indeed. Yes. Keep racing for life, chat. To be honest, I haven't seen much of Rally Pass Ogier. Yeah. I stopped after Sebastian Loeb sort of stopped. I hadn't seen it for about 10 years, but this year I'm getting definitely back into it, and it is still holding my attention. I haven't got back into it this year and gone, I can't be bothered. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that they've completely got rid of the hybrid shit, and it's just back to pure rally cars again, which I think is great. So yeah, everyone go check out rallying this year and give it a go. You might just like it. All I've got to do is try and remember what the Japanese driver's name is. Thierry Neuville is the current defending WRC champion. Elvin Evans leads the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Yes. Yeah, I've been very impressed with Elvin Evans. Well, of course I would be, because he's English, or Welsh I should say, but same difference. All part of the British Empire, as they say. So yeah, I've been impressed with him. But I say I'm very impressed with the Japanese bloke whose name I can't remember. Champion says Ogier is still active as a part-timer. Yes, he is. Yes. Planet Planet says Formula E kept jumping channels, so I stopped watching after 2018. Yeah, it did. It was it Channel 5, Channel 4 for free? Then you have to pay for it, and now it's gone back again to free again, isn't it? I don't know. Champ 90 says F1 Academy is seriously bad, to be honest. I keep hearing that it is. I just feel that I need to watch it and make a video about it, you know, because I think it's high time I made another video about women in motorsport, because, you know, it should get them all riled up again, shouldn't it? Let's hope so. So yeah, I think it's time I watched some of this F1 Academy and made a video, because it's time. It's definitely time again. Yes. It's been like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and the death threats have stopped, lads. The death threats have stopped, and I'm getting bored now. Yes. Nobody in the comments now is threatening to rip my arms and legs off. It's just, and I'm like, this is boring. Well, this is boring. So I think it's time to get all their knickers in a twist again, and look at the F1 Academy. I do believe it is free over in the UK, isn't it? I'll have to have a look on the program guide and see when the next exciting episode's on, and see if I can record it. So yeah, I can sit down and watch the F1 Academy and then make a lovely video, which I'm sure everyone will love, especially Paddock 69. Sorry, Paddock 40. See, you got me doing it now. Paddock 43. I'm sure they'll love it. Sure, they'll love it. The driving standards were horrible, terrible. Yeah, I spoke to someone about this the other day, and I said it's the same old story. They're advertising glamour over talent. Yeah. I've heard one of the best drivers in the series is Abby Pullen. But I've also heard, I mean, I don't go in for all this crap, by the way, about people's appearances and how they look. I mean, hello. But I don't go in for this. But apparently, from what I've heard, even though she's doing very, very well, she gets pushed to the sides because apparently she doesn't look very attractive. Abby Pullen. And then they promote someone like Bianca Bustamante, who is, I don't think so, but a lot of people think is very attractive. And they employed her at McLaren, didn't they? But she couldn't even steer properly. She couldn't even steer the car properly. Okay? And now she's gone, thankfully. But yeah, they advertise glamour because they know glamour sells. Now I'll just put that into perspective so I don't sound like a complete buffoon here. But yeah, so let me show you. Google Images. There we go. And they were, oh my god, they were bigging this girl up so much hype. There she is. I'm just trying to see if we can get the most glamorous. There we go. That'll do. There you go. There. Oh look, she's in vogue. There's Bianca Bustamante. I've made a video about her before, so I haven't got to go and make another one. But yeah, Bianca Bustamante. They absolutely hyped her up to the max. Absolutely to the max. But she was rubbish as a driver. Absolutely rubbish. But that's what they're trying to sell. Glamour over talent. And then I haven't even ever seen any pictures of this girl. What's her name? Abby Pullen. Let's see if we can get the best shot we can. As I say, I don't subscribe to this bullshit anyway, but that's the way life goes, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to... which the best one do we think? I think we'll go for that one. So there is Abby Pullen, and as I say, she actually can steer the car. I don't know how well she's doing because I haven't kept up on these things, but she gets pushed to the side because she isn't, quote, attractive. Isn't attractive, and that's what motorsport for women is all about. The more attractive you are, the more you are pushed to the front. Even if you can't drive for shit, doesn't make any difference. As long as you're attractive, you will get pushed to the front. And Abby Pullen apparently is a very good driver, but she gets kicked to the curb because she's not attractive enough. Oh my god. That just winds me up no end. Winds me up no end. But there you go. That's the problem. And because of this, I've heard some people say that this F1 Academy is eventually going to get women into Formula One. I just like to say, no woman in the F1 Academy is ever going to get into Formula One. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. You can all quote me on this and bash me around the head with it when it happens in 5 years' time. But I'm telling you, it's never going to happen. In 10 years' time, no one from the F1 Academy is going to get into Formula One. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. Because 3/4 of the girls in the F1 Academy can't even drive in a straight line. So it's never going to happen. And yet, the good ones, who apparently is Abby Pullen is one of them, she will get pushed off to the side, and she won't make it into F1 as well, but not because she's not good enough, but because she's not attractive enough. And that just, I don't know, that just really winds me up. Let's have a look at her career. Is she on Wiki? Is she on Wiki? Oh, she's on Wiki. She's got a Wiki page. There you go. Wish I had a Wiki page. Wouldn't be a very big one, would it, Dave? British racing driver, Formula 4, W. Yeah, she was in the W Series as well. Yeah, she's currently being coached by Alice Powell, who, as everyone knows, does some of the coverage on the Channel 4 F1. So let's have a look at her record. She started in 2013 in karting. Yeah, as I say, unfortunately, you can't really judge karting because it's just not. Karting is the stepping stone to getting into better series, but you can't judge your career on how well you did in karting. If anyone's judging their career on karting, you're an idiot, because it's just, you know, there's so many things that can happen during any kart race that to say, oh, I had a great career in karting. Yeah, you did have a great career in karting, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have a great career in other motorsports just because you were good at karting. So we always have to go past karting. It's a stepping stone up to something else. So she was in the Ginetta Junior Championship in 2018. So we'll say that was the start of her professional racing career. She finished in 21st with 62 points. Didn't seem to do it in 2019. There's question marks. So in 2020, she was in the F4 British Championship and she finished in 6th position. 2021, she was in the F4 again. She finished 14th place, so she went down a little bit there. So then she was in the W Series and she was 7th place in 2021. W Series in 2022, she was 4th position. F1 Academy in 23, she was 5th place. F1 Academy 24, she won the series, so that was last year. And in F4, she was in 7th place. She's currently a rookie and simulator driver for Formula E. And in the GB3 Championship, she's currently in 9th position, but she's only done one race for that. So, overall, not a bad result. Now let's have a look at Bianca Bustamante. Oh, she's got a wiki page as well. Here we go. So we got karting again. As I say, you can't judge your career on karting, but just to have a quick look, 2019 she came second, so well done, way. So she did a lot of it's karting again, Asian karting. She did really well in that. Well done, well done. Third, she's got third, second, lovely. Right, let's go to the professional racing career now, which is the most important thing, I say. So she joined in 2022. USF Juniors, she finished in 25th place. The W Series in 2022, she finished in 15th position. She was in the Indian Racing League, she finished in 17th place. So 2023, she was in the Formula 4 Championship and she finished in 27th place. She was in the F1 Academy, she finished in 7th place. In the Italian F4, she finished in 44th. Oh, it only looks like she did one race there, but we'll let her off for that. USF Juniors, 17th place. Macouche didn't finish. So 2024 F1 Academy, she finished in 7th place. and she's done like one-off races or a few races here, so we can't really judge that. But the Italian, she came 52nd. But as I say, she's only done a few races, so you can't really judge her on that. Formula E, she's now a development driver for Formula E. So, yeah. She's currently driving the GB3 Championship. So, overall, I would say that's worse than Abby Pullin's results. And yet, she was bigged up as, you know, oh, she's going to be one of the greats. But it didn't come to fruition, did it? Didn't come to fruition. So there you go. That's the thing that annoys me about the W Series. As I say, no one in the W Series is ever going to get into Formula One. It's not going to happen. All three races, like, good God, yes. Colin McRae says Planel Plessy, and also WRC games on the PS2. Yes, great. I'm currently playing Colin McRae 2 on the PS1. I've nearly finished it now, and that's great as well. I didn't realise it's very tail happy. Colin McRae 2. I didn't realise it was that bad. There are a few women who can drive, but the rest can go home. In my opinion, not made for that. Clearly, no. Get us a bacon sarnie where they belong, says Paddock. Yes. Oh, did I not get so much ridicule for that? Did I not get so much ridicule for that? Even though it was a joke. Oh my God. I like the W Series a lot more, and even then we had some clumsy individuals, like no awareness. And not speed as well. It's only there to fill the narrative of women who can drive and all that bullshit. Yes. Women that are attractive. That's the only narrative they're pushing. You always rise to the bait when watching it. You always rise to the bait when watching it every year. I know what you've just done there as well, and I'm not rising to that bait. I know what you're saying. No. Papa says, why isn't there a film to do with John Surtees, the only man to win championships on two wheels and four? Yeah, where is that film? Because it's not trendy enough, is it? You know, it's too far back in the past. That's the trouble. Just annoys me. Really does annoy me that, you know, it just seems that past 20 years ago, they're trying to erase Formula One's history. You know, they're trying to say, oh, well, nothing really happened after 20 years ago. Nothing really happened. It's just so much bullshit. It really is. Some of the best times in Formula One was before the 2000s. It really was. Yes, says DJM99. Yes, I heartily recommend the Graham Hill documentary. There you go. Surtees, one of the best ever in history. Graham King, yes. Damon Hill was good because of everything he went through. Yeah, he was. I've said this before. He was a good driver, not a great driver. He was good, wasn't great. He was never going to be of Senna quality, but he was good. He was very close to Nigel Mansell, I do believe, who everyone bigged up a lot and possibly too much. He, again, was a good driver, not a great one. He was. Damon would have had potential to grow, maybe another decent car to go into hours in 1997. And even after staying with Jordan until 1999, when Frentzen smoked him, it went downhill from there. Yes. And the reason why Frentzen smoked him, called to Damon Hill, was because he never got used to the groove tyres. Yes, Damon was a very smooth operator, a very smooth driver, apparently. He never went outside of that comfort zone of being very smooth, and apparently the problem with the groove tyres was it took a lot of the smoothness out of your driving. You had to drive with the groove tyres with a very sort of rough and ready driving style, and Damon just couldn't get to grips with that. Excuse the pun, talking about tyres, but he couldn't get to grips with that, and that's why he said that he started to go downhill as soon as those tyres started to go to Grooves. I mean, it's all very well. We don't know that. We all say that's just an excuse. It could well have been, but he could have been right as well. We'll never know. But that's basically what he said about his performance drop off in his later years was purely, as he says, was the tyres. He had problems with Hans Ulrich and Ralf Schumacher. Yes. Cannot even disagree, Player Pleasure. I'm saying that there's only been 34 champions. To say that you're not one of like the top 3 or 4% of racers isn't really an insult, to be honest. Hill was average at best. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Got to remember Damon was an old man when he got his first F1 seat. Yes, 34 years old. 34 years old when he started in Formula 1. Which is, as you say, in F1 standards, an old man before you even start. Because Damon was a bike rider before that. So he did a lot of bike racing before he did that. A lot like his father did. And so, yeah, he entered the sport in 34 years old. So, you know, a lot of the current crop of F1 drivers are thinking at 34 years old, they've only got a couple more years left. And yet he just started. Damon was born old, let's face that, yes. Exactly, and he pretty much had to work his way in because after his father was unalived in the plane accident, all his insurance went. Yep. Old but gold. I love that. Old but gold. It's called sensible. It's called sensible, not out. Yes, I agree with you. Apart from the sensible bit. Yes. I am certainly not sensible. I never have been and never will be. And as I get older, I get less and less sensible. Yes. Good then. Sensible but gold. I just flipped the switch. I gave Le Mans a 9 out of 10. The F1 race a 7 out of 10. I don't know. Josh Revel thinks he'll win one. Agreed, probably. Ferrari won all 4 races so far in WRC in the past 3 Le Mans races. That's crazy. It is. Josh Revel is a world-class yapper. Yes, he is. He is world class in this, I'm telling you. But let's face it, we all at times love to yap and to be outspoken for whatever reason, even if it's totally irrelevant or as irrelevant as the last snow. Rossit, I'm sure you can rearrange those letters. I'm sure you can, Mr. DJM99. I'm sure you can rearrange those letters. Yes, Rossit. Let's grab that T. Let's grab that T and let's push that T. And let's put it all the way in front of that R. How's that sound? Shall we grab that R now and move it out of the way for a minute and put the T in there? In German, well, if you know that Rosset means you will fall off from your stool. I don't, so enlighten me, because I like falling off my chair. It's only a highlight of my day. Ricardo Rossi should be an F1 icon in F1. He should be. In 1998, Ricardo Rossi came ahead of Oliver Panis in the championship as he finished 8th in Canada. Panis' best finish was 9th in Australia. Wowzers. Liam Lawson is a loudmouth wannabe. I agree. And that's good. But it's your performance on track that counts, and there just hasn't been any, is there? Hasn't been any performance whatsoever. He's just no. As I say, tipped to be Max Verstappen potential, as good as Max. I heard that last few years all the time. Oh, Liam Lawson. This is before he started racing. He's going to be the next Max Verstappen. I mean, that's a pretty high bar at any sort of situation anyway, isn't it? To already be compared to Max Verstappen before you even started racing. That's a very high pedestal for people to put you on. I don't know where that's even come from, really. It's crazy. But yeah, as good as Max Verstappen. Nah. In Super Formula, he already got schooled. I watched plenty of Super Formula back in the days, as I still do now, and I can tell the dude got really schooled at times. Green as grass and still fucking Hajar is better than him, the same guy who fumbled under pressure last year against Bortoleto for the F2 title. Lawson is a good driver. He just needs to get out of the Red Bull family to 5. That's true. Oh my goodness. Well, look at this, everyone. Better late than never, but here he is. Yes, the world famous only Yorkshireman in the stream, because the other one can't be bothered to turn up because he's way too famous now. It's Mr. Will F1. Good evening, sir. Good evening. The man in Yorkshireman is a YouTube god, he says. Wow. Wow. Well, look what happened to him, my friend. I told everyone who would listen that they would crumble under the emotion from the A-team. Look now what has happened. Yes. Where is TB? I know what you want. I know what you're here for. And here he is. TB the bear. Yes, he is naked. Well, just for you. Well, he would be naked because it's very, very hot in the UK anyway. But just for you, he's all naked. No. Oh. Oh, TB. 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 I'm all hot, TB. You're going to go and lick me off later. Oh, I said lick. Lick. Bloody hell. Kubica was supposed to be at Ferrari had the crash not happened. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him at Ferrari. He used to, not going to lie. Takam, Doto Katsu, that's his name, did. Thank you, sir, thank you. Yes, that's the bloke. That's the fella. That's the Japanese fella. No, I'm very impressed with him. They've done a couple of interviews while the races have been going on, and he seems like a nice guy. He really does. Seems like a nice guy. And he's best friends with that other bloke, Rothenpera. Yeah, they're really great friends, and they had a little bit of a banter session together while I was watching the rally, and yeah, they seem pretty genuine, both of them, in fact. So well done to Takamoto. He's my tip for the World Rally. I don't think he'll win, but he's doing all right. So well done to Takamoto. My fellow Yorkshireman is indeed a god and always will be. There you go. There you go. Plana plays similar to the likes of Beloff and Bianchi. Get Dave Hook AI voice on this all season's rubbish. Now that's a thing. I should do that once. Get my own voice and AI it. I've never actually done that. I should see what that sounds like. Probably be horrendous. Wowzers me trousers. Liam Lawson is a melt, says Will F1. Well, the piece was nice, then it all reminds us of his existence. You too, honestly, you too. Just recently I've checked the GT World channel and heard AI voice. I was fuming. For fuck's sake, lazy people. Oh, I agree. AI voices are very, very lazy. I'll put it into context because I know not a lot of people watch my all seasons, but I put an AI voice for about a minute just as an intro after the beginning titles of the video has run, and it's an AI voice, and it's usually a racing driver or a personality. Last week I had Sylvester Stallone on, so it's someone like that. It could be a celebrity, movie star, could be anyone. It's only on for a minute because unfortunately I use free software and I'm limited to a very short amount of time each day, and then they cut me off because I refuse to pay for AI stuff because they want like £10 a month for AI. I'm not doing that. So the most I can get is about a minute out of this thing that I do, and it's just basically anyone. It could be a celebrity. I say it was Sylvester Stallone last week, and that's what I do, and that's my contribution to AI, and that's all I'm doing. But to actually voice a whole video in AI, you're right, it's just completely lazy, and they probably just ask for a script into ChatGTP, and that's what they come up with. So they're just basically reading off a script that ChatGTP has done, and then they make it into an AI voice, which is easy. It's very, very easy to do those AI voices, and that's it. So lazy, really is. The only time I'd probably do an AI voice for a whole video is if I've got sick and I can't speak, and so I'd probably say, okay, I'll just have to do this as an AI voice. But to do it for a whole video, it's just crazy, because your natural voice can't be replicated by an AI. They did this a few months ago in a YouTube video. The bloke who does a lot of the voices for The Simpsons, can't remember his name, but he does a lot of them. And they got him to speak and they got the AI to speak. And the AI just can't get the inflections that this guy can speak. And he said it himself, it can't nail it. And it can't. All the speaking that the AI does is very, very monotone, and it's, it never sort of deviates. It is getting better. Some of my last AIs are getting pretty much nailed for getting the speed and the way the inflections and what have you, but it's still not perfect. And so I think it's got a few more years to go, but I can see in 10 years time AI voices will be as good as our voices. That's the scary thing. You won't be, when you can't tell the difference between our normal speaking voice and the AI voice. That's going to be the scary part, because you're not going to know whether it's real or not. So at the moment it's very it's very easy to tell. You can tell because at times the voice starts going robotic and you go, oh, that's an AI voice. But I'll say 5-10 years time, I think that technology is going to really come along, and it's going to be very, very difficult to tell. And it's going to be big business as well for people, especially people who make YouTube videos. It's going to be huge business. I won't subscribe to it. As long as I can still speak, I will try and do every video with my natural voice in it. I could put 15 or 20 different AI voices doing some kind of comedy stuff. I haven't got a problem with that. But for me speaking, I'd much rather just do it myself, because by the time you've written the script out and got the AI to speak it, you might just as well speak it yourself. Which is, as you say, it's just laziness. As I say, they probably just use ChatGPT for the script. So they just basically get the script, get the AI to speak it, and then that's it. Then all they've got to do is like the video that's on screen. They might put some pictures on and whatever to describe what they're talking about, and that's it. And I've seen them, especially these F1 channels. They do it all the time, and they're banging out these videos every single day, and they're basically about nothing. The stories are not correct. So many F1 channels just churn out. I don't want to start throwing shade at them, but you'll know the channels that I'm talking about. They just churn out every single day. Same old shit. Oh, this is happening. Oh, Lewis Hamilton's quitting. I hear that. I see that story so many times. It's unbelievable. Lewis Hamilton quits. Yes. I mean, look at Lance Stroll a couple of weeks ago. Everyone jumped on that. Lance Stroll's quitting. No, he isn't quitting. But they just run it all the time. It's just really annoying. Really annoying. Liam Lawson's the only one. Get one free. Buy one, get one free. I thought, damn man, damn fucking AI in my sport. I know, it's terrible. Lawson is nowhere near as bad as this season's making him look. Needs a reset is all. Liam Lawson has been the worst driver this year. Agreed, to be honest, Paddock 69. Lawson isn't capable of learning. Love it. Chat's getting spicy. I feel as though there's a driver there we're not seeing for reasons I know and I don't know, I guess. Hulkenberg 2025 is better than Norris 2025. He's doing well. Don't forget, allegedly, the worst car in the field. I don't think it is, but allegedly, that Sauber's the worst car in the field, and he is doing bloody well in it. He's certainly showing up his teammate, Bortoletto. Certainly showing him up. Lawson out-qualified a certain Max Verstappen in 2023, of course. He is used get used to the cars when they chucked him in the first time when he replaced Daniel Ricciardo, but he isn't the same. True, very true. Norris 2025 is worse than Norris 2025. Yes, I saw what you did there, and I like it. Hulkenberg is already miles better in that Sauber than Bottas ever was. I can't disagree. Obviously, another year has gone past, so there could be, you know, something better in that Sauber car. We don't know. But I have to agree. I think Red Bull has destroyed him mentally. Clearly he put on a tough act to try and please them. That environment has destroyed him. Yeah. But oh well, everyone or every team can have a bad weekend, and that one time Red Bull had a bad weekend in Singapore 2023. Yes. Oh yes. I totally agree, mate. Red Bull is simply a career destroyer at the moment. Oh, it certainly is. It's gonna spit out so many people's careers. Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda. Oh my God, he's gonna be spat out soon. Even Isaac Hajur, he's gonna be spat out soon as well. Even though he's doing okay, he's gonna be spat out soon. It's just that second seat is just so toxic. It really is, so toxic. Alex United says Abby Pullin seems solid. The rest not so much. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. But as I say, she's pushed to the side because she isn't, open brackets, attractive enough. As I say, I hate that kind of thing anyway. Because hello. Red Bull destroyed Gasly, yet he bounced again. That's true, Will. I'll give you that one. He did. Abby is part of the Alpine Academy, the poor lad, because it wasn't hard enough for being a woman in motorsport. That's true. That's true. I did hear this morning, actually, that someone's just coming and bought Alpine. I don't know whether that's true or not. It might have been clickbait. I only saw it for a second. No, there's nothing here. Must have been clickbait. It would be the top story if definitely someone said they'd come in and brought Alpine this morning, but I only saw it for a second, so yeah, we'll leave that one as a rumour. We'll leave that one as a rumour. Lawson is performing worse than Kvyat did after his demotion. True. I suppose Gaz had the right mentality about it then anyways. Pin is quite a decent driver, and Chambers, well, depends on her day as well. Only a few can actually go like Pullin or Jamie Chadwick. Tina Houseman is in her second season yet still struggles to improve. That's what we are saying, Will. Lawson's another Gasly. He'll thrive once out of the family. Gasly isn't thriving at Alpine. Kvyat was alright his career though, to be honest. To be fair, he beat Ricciardo and everything. He did. Abby's okay as a person, at least it seems to me. Yes. Gasly thrived when he got demoted. There's a difference. Prior to his implosion, Gasly had been poor this season. Colin Pinto should use this to his advantage, or otherwise he will not keep his seat at Alpine. Yes. Well, I think the next race is the last of his 5, isn't it? So then we'll see what's happening. Because he's only employed for 5 races. Very weird. Hell, I'd take Lawson over Norris. Yeah, I think anyone would. Even with money and sponsor backing. You seem to like Lawson, KD. But Colapinto crashed a bit way too often last season at Williams towards the end. Yeah, he did. He did. You enormously overrate Gasly, KD. You think he's better than Leclerc. Colapinto, I love the spicy chat. Colapinto has that seat for the season. They are only saying that to keep doing somewhat content. I get you. That's laughable. And yes, I agree. It's never going to happen that we will see a woman in F1. It's never going to happen, as you said. No, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Not in the next 10 years will it happen. I hate to say this, but I think it's never going to happen. I don't want that to be a thing, but I think it's never going to happen. I think in 100 years' time, I mean, I won't be here, so yeah, play amongst yourselves. But in 100 years' time, there still won't be a female in Formula One. I just don't believe it'll happen. But definitely not in the next 5 years, not in the next 10 years, and definitely not as a result of the F1 Academy. That's just, yeah. Not going to happen. Will says, oh dear, Dave doesn't fancy every pulling. Nice one, Will. He was at one point. Leclerc has massively improved in the last few years, though. Finally started to keep it out of the walls. That's true. These ladies have a better chance of winning the lottery tomorrow, becoming the next Pope than ever racing in Formula One. This is also true. This is also true. Because the format is already flawed because they're segregating them into a female-only category, which is the W Series, isn't it? So they're already, you know, cutting them off by not letting them race with the men. So it's a stupid format if you look at it, really, because that is not going to get them into Formula One. Because what they're saying is, amongst women, people of the same sex, you've got drivers here that are going to win races. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. But when they then advance into Formula One, they could end up being last on the grid, 5 seconds behind any of the men, because they've never actually competed with the men. So I say, don't do that. Don't do that. If you want a female in Formula One, then put them together. Now, this debate has gone on for years, but that's what I say. You can't subjugate a certain sex and get them to do well and say, well, that's it then. We can now put them in Formula One. No, you can't, because you've never raced against men. Race against men first, and then decide whether you want to put them in Formula One. Don't segregate them into their own little group, because it's just, how is that going to work? How is that going to work? Totally agree. Gasly has never been better than Leclerc as a driver. Spot on. There will be a woman in F1 before long, though. They'll probably only be there for a quick cash grab for the team, yeah. Gasly over Leclerc is crazy as fuck. KD loves Gasly. 2022 Leclerc was particularly appalling. Exactly. Everyone was appalling in 2022 except Verstappen then. I rate him, don't love him though. He's not a potential champion or anything. Ferrari screwed up a lot more than Leclerc did in 2022, to be honest. You overrate him. Well, look at Mick Schumacher. He won F3 and F2, yet still he couldn't have had another seat in F1, mainly due to him crashing in the Haas, and the Haas was the wrong team to agree with, and he was slower than K-Mag. He certainly was. Gasly was dreadful in 2022. How many times did he bottle it or crash? He was like Lando this season. Leclerc, that is. Mick does an awesome job in WEC with Alpine, even in Le Mans, a top 10 result with that snail of an engine at the moment. There are tons of examples of other drivers by now. Imola, and even that's the equivalent of bottling a win and coming second, and France... Shit. I've lost... There it is. I lost the chat for a minute. I've lost the chat. Not lost the chat, I've just lost my place in the chat. Where did I get to? Here we go. I got it. 3 points at Japan and 2 points at Belgium as well. So, and since your teammate is your first reference point as a rookie, depending on the team, it can go one way or the other. Sure, many will say, hey, look at Antonelli, but he is in his first year still. Yeah, that's true. First year for Antonelli. He's doing very well, but we will see as it progresses. Japan as well, but he lost like 3 points, so about 35 points. That 2022 Alpha Tauri was rather cack as well, though. He was okay that season, nothing more. Ferrari were more at fault for 2022 than Leclerc was. Regarding Piastri, by the way, at the moment the others can consider themselves lucky. He could have potentially won even 3 races more, in my opinion. Melbourne, Suzuka, maybe even Monaco with a better qualifying. 2022 Gasly is like 2025 Gasly. Occasionally great, but poor overall. KD loves Gasly. While Norris fumbles and loses on points, he could easily score if not in winning contention. Got beat by Sainz twice as well. Thankfully, he's seemingly sorted himself out, can actually perform consistently now. I mean, Gasly is a great cult hero, but there's a reason why he's that. Yes. Gasly better than Leclerc is like saying Bottas was a championship contender in 2020. Sainz only beat Leclerc in 2021. Leclerc was clearly better in 2022. Sainz was good at Ferrari. Yes, he was, definitely. Not better than how he's doing at Williams anyway. He was for 3 races. Speaking of 20 years ago today, 6 cars started the United States Grand Prix. Wow, was it 20 years ago today? Oh, wowzers. That infamous race. 6 cars. So that was 2 Ferraris, 2 Jordans, 2 Minardis. Yes? Am I right on that? I think I am. Because they were the only ones on Bridgestone tyres, I do believe. Yes, 2 Ferraris, 2 Jordans, 2 Minardis. Oh my God. The crowd throwing beer cans onto the circuit in their disgust. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Bernie the Bolt got me right up to the last second. It's okay, everyone's going to be racing. Everyone's going to be right up to the last second. And then suddenly, 6 cars appeared on the grid. Everyone went, what? What's going on? Where's everyone gone? And that was it. A 6-car race. That's never been repeated again. Never been repeated again. So there you go. And of course, if anyone doesn't remember, that was because the Michelin said they could not guarantee that the tyres would be okay going around the banking at full speed. In other words, they could literally explode going around the banking and could cause a serious accident, and the drivers could end up in the wall. And if you're going into a solid wall at 220 miles an hour, that's pretty serious. And Michelin they put their hands up, didn't they? And they said, no, basically we fucked it. We fucked it on the tyres, and it's our fault. We put our hands up, we fucked it on the tyres, and we cannot guarantee that those tyres will be okay. So for safety reasons, we need to withdraw from the championship. I remember David Coulthard, oh my God, he was saying over the radio, look, I just want to race. Just let me race. But legal reasons, of course, meant that he couldn't, because he couldn't put his life in danger, knowing that Michelin had turned around and said no, something really bad could happen. So there you go. Personally, I don't think anything bad would have happened. I think the race could have just been run as it was, and I think the tyres would have been fine. We're never going to know that, of course, but it was over cautiousness from Michelin, but I could also see why they did it, because it could have ended up as a huge disaster. But I just think that race would have run absolutely fine, and there would have been no problems whatsoever. But of course, we will never know. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. But Ferrari fumbled so hard in 2022, like so hard. It was all Leclerc's fault, according to Leclerc hater KD. Will loves pre-24 Leclerc. KD loves Alonso. However, Leclerc cost Ferrari the Constructors' title in 2024 as he did not let Sainz through, causing the accident. Bet Paddock 69 is buying, or has he bought that take? Damon Hill, the smooth operator, and yes, he couldn't get to grips with the groove tyres, yes. Gasly is average at best. Alonso, we all know you love that man. I still haven't forgiven him for the McLaren years. Fernando Alonso did the same again on Sunday. I mean, Alonso didn't sign that Honda engine deal. The one driver I wouldn't take over Norris. He does control his behaviour though. McLaren were 5th in 2013 and 2014 already, so the decline already started, to be honest. I mean, the end of Button's career as a good driver in a useless car. True. F1 2002 soon. Yes. Yes. KD's favourite champion in recent times is Hamilton then. The end of Button's career was getting too intimate with a Sauber. Yes. In the record book, Sir Lewis Hamilton's the greatest of all time. TB Naked. Yes. Champ 92. TB Naked as Will F1. Yes. Following the rules, he probably should have 8 titles. It was great seeing Max nick it off him on the final lap though. Well, Dave, you wanted to be enlightened about what rosette means. It's a flower, okay, but in terms of a body part, it stands for anus. Nice. Nice. I didn't know that, and now I do. So thanks for that, because I love knowledge. I really do. I love knowledge. It stands for anus. Great. Before, my respect for Max mostly went out the window for anything other than his talent. Yes, still remember being the only person celebrating whilst my family members were all mad like Neo. Neo? Okay. So the flower that both you and Dave talk out of, Champ. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I've always talked out of my anus. Oh dear. Oh dear. Answer this question. Montoya bottled the 2003 championship. He was never winning the championship regardless, to be honest. Ferrari were too quick and Kimi was Kimi. His car let him down too in Suzuka and Austria in 03, but yes, he fumbled and crumbled still, and he gave away the win in Melbourne as well as a totally bad race in Indy. Williams had the best car in 2003. Drivers weren't consistent enough. Wrong. Both. You mean the reliability wasn't good enough. Montoya was the flash. Pretty darn quick he bursts. Only those who watched will know. Ralph was a waste of time though. Montoya wasn't as consistent as Michael Schumacher or Kimi. Montoya just didn't win enough wins or get enough podiums, to be honest. Well, Ralph's career went downhill after getting schooled by Trulli in Toyota. Yes. Schumacher was winning 2003 no matter what, to be honest. I mean, his career wasn't that damn long, to be honest. Montoya lacked in terms of consistency and lack of work and effort, as well as he had ground pace but not as consistent as Michael Schumacher and Kimi. Anyways, I agree. Crystal Racing and Kieran Smith disagree on that, KD. Michael Schumacher had 6 wins to Kimi's 1 win in 2003. So yeah, he deserved it anyway. I mean, Raikkonen was in a 2002 McLaren just with a few updates. Kieran hasn't got any brain cells, Will. Kimi was a beast similar to Alonso right from the get-go and start. It was clear today as me that those two would rattle on Schumi's cage. Crystal Racing said Piastri is best driver for 2025. Kieran Smith. Kieran has PTSD, says Will F1. Wowzers. Wowzers me trousers. But let's put some respect on the 03 McLaren. I still think that car was at least good. Kieran has a difficult time and staying alive not far away from a razor blade, so stay humble, huh? Oh, is that the situation? Okay, we'll yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. We'll stay humble for Kieran. Deep down, I knew Crystal Racing was a legend. McLaren's 2003 reliability was better than most McLaren cars from that era. It was so, but the reliability was ass. In 2002, it's still not as perfect. It should have been better in 2003, but it costed them the title. And in 2005 as well, yes. I'd feel sorry for the razor blade. What a waste of use. Ooh! Ooh! And other parts of your body. Have the KGB finally got their hands on LP? I'm sorry, what? I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm just telling you it is as it is, the good old Zen Master. Sato for F1 2002, Dave. Sato. Yeah, I know, I got it. Sato. First blue, give way to the car behind you when you can. Alex Young. Alex Young. Ah, Sato, the crash kid in 2002 who could never forget, won the Indy 500 then twice. Yes. Sato channels Dave's spirits for crashing. Yes. When Sato scored 5th place in the Jordan in Suzuka 2002, it was a magic moment for him, for Honda and all his fans. Yes, it certainly was. The format absolutely makes no sense anyways, to split them away from the man, to be honest. I mean, we've had an Iron Dames team, for example, in endurance, just for instance, and it worked. Or in DTM, I remember as well. When Vanina X and Susie Stoddard, now Wolf, raced against the other man. It just comes across as some huge form of discrimination to separate the women from the men anyways, in terms of racing, in this case the format to let them all race in the same category, only then to not. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. You can't put all the females in their own series and then say once you've won they'll be able to go to Formula 1. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Oh, there's my Viagra timer. That means I've been on air for 2 hours now. Right, let's finish off with the comments. Let them at least have a test. Even that is not... Yeah, it's a waste of time. Not only that, but I remember that they wanted to put in a chicane as well just before the race would start back in Indy 2005, but the majority said no to this, and the 6 cars thing could have been prevented. Yeah, it could have been. Could have been. The 2005 Indy race wouldn't have run as normal, would have been a disaster. There you go. That's what I like. Difference of opinion. KD has been supporting Hamilton in 2025. He's making excuses for him. Point standings, Dave, says Will F1. Both him and the team are washed. F1 news, Dave. Yes, don't say that to Hamilton fans on TMY's cruel channel. We always gives Hamilton high scores. Some people are saying Christian Horner to Ferrari. An absolute joke, that is. F1 career challenge, 100% rate. Yes, we know. With multi 21, Seb. I'd like to see KD F1 doing a 100% race at Monaco on F1 2015. Yes. Right, that's it, everyone. I've got to disappear. But before I go, we've got to do the point standings, haven't we? No, that's not it. That's F1 news. I want F1 official. That's it. We've got to do the point standings. Yeah, I know. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Point standings. Here we go. Drivers. Drivers. No, that's not it. Results, that's what we want. Drivers. Oh, that's a very nice little graphic they've got now for the thing. We'll go with that one. Make myself a little bit smaller. So in first place in the championship so far, it's Oscar's Pastry. With 198 points. I've got rid of the chat for a minute. 198 points. Second for Lando Norris, 176. Third for Maxi Boy Verstappen with 155 points. As I say, he is catching Lando and I think you can overtake him. Fourth for George Russell with 136 points. Fifth for Charles Leclerc with 104 points. Lulu is in sixth place with 79. Seventh for Kimi Antonelli. What happened there? I don't know. 8th for Alexander Albon with 42 points. 9th for SD Bestie with 22. 10th for Isaac Hajir with 21. 11th for Nico Hulkenberg in the Kick Sauber for 20 points. Lance Stroll, oh my hand hurts, he's got 14 points. Carlos Sainz 13 points in the Williams. Still 13th place, 13 points. That's a bit spooky, isn't it? Pierre Gasly 11 points in the Alpine. 15th for Yuki Tsunoda. 16th for Fernando Alonso with 8 points. 17th for Ollie Behrman, 6 points. 18th for Liam Lawson with 4 points. 19th for Gabriel Bortoletto with 0 points. And also Franco Colapinto and of course Jack Doohan. He is no longer in Formula 1. Well, only as a test driver. Right, I think this was the F1 news. I think I did the F1 news at the start. Here we go. Top stories. Let me just refresh that in case it's been... And it has. Yeah, James Vowles has signed a long-term deal with Williams. I said about that at the start of the show. Ferrari had clumsy Canadian Grand Prix, says Nico Rosberg. Now, of course, Nico Rosberg offered tutoring to Lando Norris after the race at Canada. And apparently he did not reply to the message. Personally, I would have jumped at the chance to get mentoring from Nico Rosberg. Perhaps he thought it was beneath him. Perhaps he thought, you know, why on earth would I need tutoring? But that was the wrong idea. He should have just said, yeah, I'll have some tutoring, Nico, because, you know, Nico Rosberg, a world champion, and he knew how to get his head down and get the job done, which is what Lando needs. So I would have jumped at the chance, but there you go. That's Lando Norris for you. Ferrari hint at Austrian Grand Prix upgrade, but already talked about its impact. I think that's pretty much all of it. Yep, not really anything else going on. Right. I've lost the chat again. There it is. There it is. Point stands, F1 news. The first European race, Bangkok, coming to the calendar soon. Well, a coach they can actually get behind. I think it's time for McLaren to prioritise Piastri at one point. I mean, Norris is clearly struggling to keep his head together. Of course, as long as both have the chance, you have to keep it open. We shall see what happens. McLaren will be a 1-2 every race. They're better drivers. Under normal circumstances, the constructors is done and dusted as well. McLaren is too far away to be caught. Yes, I agree. Sainz was 12 with 12 points, 2 races ago. Then let's see how you will do. How will do. Yes, how will do. Nico Rosberg, the man who beat Lewis Hamilton equal machinery and who does selfies. Yeah, that Nico Rosberg. I'd piss myself laughing if Christian Horner goes to Ferrari, but it won't happen. No, I don't think it'll happen anyway. But we will see. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching, everyone on the stream tonight. This was a stream which had no Formula 1 race to talk about, apart from the one that just went, but I already talked about that on Monday. And we haven't got one this weekend because there's a 2-week break, so it'll be another week before we got another one. So we've done well considering there was no F1 race to talk about. Chazza HD rates SD Bestie Ocon. Thinks Magnussen is better than Hulkenberg. Kyle Army has been given a grade 1 status recently. Looks like we are going back there soon. Well, that's okay. I like Kyle Army. Good night, Mr. Champ 92. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us tonight on the stream. Thank you to everyone on the stream tonight. To all the usual regulars. Yep. Paddock 69, Mr. Will F1. Now, just before I go, I got some exciting news. I haven't done it yet, and when I say I'm going to do it soon, it could be like 2 weeks away. But we're currently on F1 25 on a Monday night doing our league racing. And some of the lads on there want to do it on PC because they can have 3 screens. I don't know. But anyway, that's what they want to do. So they want to do it on PC. But of course, they can't talk to us on PlayStation on PC. So I may in the future be setting up a Discord server. So if anyone wants to join that, feel free to. I'll give you the details when I actually get round to doing it. As I say, it could be weeks, could be months away yet, but I'm going to make a Discord server so you can join that and you can natter to yourselves in there for us as long as you like, okay? And I'll just be using it on a Monday night when we're doing the league races. So yeah, I will be setting up a Discord server, so feel free to join it. I'll give you all the full details when I've done it, which, as I say, could be weeks, but with me it could be months away, but I am definitely going to do it because, as I say, some of the lads want to do it on PC. That will be a mess. Oh my god! Yeah, because you can comment on there. You can leave memes. You can put pictures in there. Oh my god! I can see myself having to devote like an hour on a Saturday just to read through all the Discord comments because it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy in there. It's going to be like a smelting pot of craziness. It is. I know it is. But anyway, it's got to be done. So I'm going to do it. And of course, if I'm going to make a Discord, I might as well, include everyone on the YouTube that watches me on the YouTube as well. So you'll be free to join. As far as I know, it's all free Discord. I don't think you have to pay anything. I'll look into it, but if I've got to pay for it, I won't do it. But I think it's free Discord. So yeah, and you can join that. And then you can yap to yourselves for your heart's consent. I won't be in there constantly, don't worry, because I just haven't got the time. I won't be in there, but I will check on it every now and again, see what's going on. So feel free to, leave me messages and memes and photos, and because I expect you will. But anyway, I'll set that up soon. I say soon, could be months, but I will let you all know when it's done anyway. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me tonight, Mr. Champ 92, Paddock 69, Mr. Will F1. Wait a minute. We've got to give him what he wants. It's the only reason he comes here. TB the bear. TB the bear. Yes. I'm doing it in slow motion. There you go, Will. Just for you. TB the bear. Thanks for joining me. Who else did we have? Mr. Rugara, thank you, sir, for joining me tonight. Paddock, I've said Paddock already. Will, I've said. Mr. Rugara. There was more. Oh, Mr. Pinal Pessy. I almost forget him every single time. Thank you for joining me in the chat tonight, sir. And of course, Mr. DGM99, thank you, sir, for joining me as well. I think that's it. Yes, that is everybody. Bye, old Chav and Chav. So yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me. No Grand Prix this weekend, so I'll tell you what, it's going to be very, very hot on Saturday, like 34 degrees or something. Here's an idea. I know it's crazy, but bear with me. Why don't you go outside in the sunshine? Don't ever go at me. I know it's scary outside, but it's sunny. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah, go outside in the sunshine, only for a couple of minutes, and then decide that's no, and come back in again. But just do it for a couple of minutes. Why not? Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always, and I'll catch you in the next video, which what's today? Thursday. Be the All Seasons on Sunday. Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, and good night. Exactly, Dave. Tell them us. Touch some grass. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh God, I can't wait. I can't wait for the. You'll melt, Dave. If you ever attempt that, I will. I will. I will. I'm just having nightmares about doing this Discord server now. To be honest, I can't even imagine how bad it's going to end up. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you, everyone, and good.